I remember being in that space in life when I just felt like my marriage was a hot mess. I felt like I was a hot mess. And I believed that my life was a hot ass mess, right? Literally until God met me right there where I was and He showed me something different. So God showed me that because of the way that I was currently seeing things in life and because of the way that I was remembering past situations and things that had happened in life, it was literally shaping my reality. Like I could not see the purpose in life at that time. I was experiencing a great depression in my life because I did not know my purpose. I was experiencing a great depression. I was emotional. I had no emotional control. I had no self control. And I just, yeah, that. And so my relationships were failing because I had no identity. Like I couldn't see the purpose in things and why is this stuff happening to me. So it was hard for me to truly identify, myself in life situations. Just felt broken, and it was extremely painful. But here is where I started to take control. God showed me how to think in cycles and patterns. So the cycles are the experience that I was going through, right, in life, what I was seeing. And then the patterns was how I got there. So I like to see cycles and patterns as like signs and symptoms. The cycle, the thing that we're experiencing is the sign, but the symptom is the pattern. Like, okay, how did we actually get here? Once I learned how to think and see life in cycles and patterns, like it literally changed my life because, for once in a very long time, I felt like I had more control, and not even control of all situations, but I gained more control in me. Woo! In situations, so that no matter where I am in life or no matter what is going on around me or how other people are acting, the biggest thing was for me to be in control of me. I realized that, when you learn to see life in cycles and patterns and you're able to identify the thing that is facing you, right? You're Goliath in a situation, then you feel good. You actually feel like seeing lemons and you feel like making lemonade. Like, who is this chick? Who is this girl? Usually I would see lemons in life and be like, why is life so sour? And that is what made life so much sweeter. This may not be a popular belief, but it is so true that life is all about how you feel. It's all about how you feel. Like people will say, how you feel doesn't matter. God cares about how you feel. So how you feel in life, it does matter. He wants you to feel amazing. He wants you to feel like a conqueror. He wants you to feel like a queen, like royalty, like a daughter or a son of a king. And so we're supposed to be here feeling amazing because we're walking in that, right? But here's the caveat. In order for you to gain control, well, I'll just say me, in order for me to gain control of me, it required God to expose me to me. That's the trip part. That's the inner work. That's the hard part about change and changing our lives and growing is the stretch. The stretch is literally being able to look yourself in the mirror and allow God to show you in situations. That is part of the unmasking, right? That is part of the surrender. It's like, you know what? I'm tired of trying to figure it out myself. That is part of the process. Inner work will check you and all 12 of your disciples, okay? All of them. You'll know what everybody is about. It's like understanding the dynamics of relationships, right? And not just in titles and like, oh, well, you're the husband, I'm the wife, or you're the no, but it's understanding the dynamics of the mind, like thought processes, okay? Same as understanding human nature. So when we start to see our life in cycles and patterns, the cycle is going to be the sign, because that is the thing that you can see, right? When you learn to identify a cycle, you learn to stop, you learn to look, and you learn to listen. Also known as you learn to be still. So once you can first stop to see the sign, right? Then you sit in stillness and you assess the cycle. Now the cycle is the symptoms. A lot of times we've been had symptoms, but we've ignored the symptoms, right? And then we see the sign, which is the situation in life. So once we learn to assess the symptom, and assessing the symptom in regards to a pattern is assessing first how you feel. So you want to stop, look, listen. This is a cycle. And then in stillness, you can assess the symptoms, which is how you feel. And when you assess how you feel, then you can get to the cause. Everything is cause and effect. Just like there are state laws, there are spiritual laws. So there is a cause and an effect for the things that we experience in life. And so the cause in this situation is going to be the pattern, the way that you think. There are typically plenty of signs that our life is out of control in some areas. And a lot of times it's because of the symptoms that we have ignored for so long. But if we choose to identify, it is a choice to do this, to dig deeper. But if we choose to identify the cause by first identifying the cycles and patterns, right? Then we can start to see purpose. And you can start to see the purpose in it all and what it means for you, right? Like, what does all of this mean? Why is all this happening in my life, God? I thought you said that my story was written. Why did you write this part in my story? So when all of those things start to make sense to you and you can understand what you're experiencing and what you're seeing, right? Then you'll see that everything is happening in your life. Everything that's happening in your life is part of your story. And so if you believe that God gave us dominion to walk on top of scorpions, to walk on top of snakes and scorpions, right? And he said that he will make our paths clear, our paths full of light. Then when you start to identify cycles and patterns from the dark, that is when life starts to get a whole lot brighter. That is when, when brighter skies come, when you know that the rain will stop. When you learn to be still and know that I am God, that is when, even in the midst of rain, God feels like an umbrella. That is your certainty that the rain will stop. You just have to know that. And so if you are still listening, I just want to encourage you that no matter what cycle you're going through, no matter what patterns it is that you need to work through right now in life, I would like to encourage you to just first be still. Wherever you are, you can take 5 to 10 minutes to meditate or to journal or to, write it out and pray and ask God to help you to identify the cycles and patterns in your life so that you can gain control of your life today and that you can rise up and walk in your purpose. Part of my purpose is getting this message out, which is why this is so not easy for me, because my experiences in life and what I've learned throughout life, what I've gone through, and the treasures that I've gained, the keys of knowledge that I've gained, is sacred. It's so sacred. Like, it just feels like whenever I share, I feel like I'm sharing like just some heavy stuff, but it's heavy, but at the same time, it's what made me feel so light. And to remember that I am light. I am everything that God says that I am. And so are you. So hopefully this message inspires someone who's going through cycles and patterns in life and it just doesn't feel right. And be still. Be still and know that God is who he said he is, okay? And once you learn and you understand and you build that relationship with him, you'll see what I mean. Till next time.